How you doing?
I'm good. That was a crazy 28 minutes or more to
I
get us ready.
know.
And
I
we were so excited about this. So, but it is just the beginning, right, my friend?
yes, yes. We were. I this morning. I told you when I called. I was like, I've been dreaming for 7 hours what we're going to talk about for 30 minutes.
Maybe that jinxed us this morning with the
Yeah,
technology, but
through the
it's
night.
okay.
Yes. And then, actually, I started. Well, the point of this live is that when we were talking this week, it was like, what did you do on Saturday mornings? We were talking about scrolling through
Yeah,
social
right,
media now, but
right.
like when you were a kid, you watched Saturday morning
Saturday
cartoons.
morning cartoons.
Yeah, so hopefully people are strolling through their Facebook feeds now and like, hey, who are these two ladies?
Yeah. But
And
that's the
maybe
goal here, right? I mean, that is dating us a little bit too, but I love Saturday morning cartoons, right? So that we create the consistency here for all of our viewers out there. And we're going to have fun stuff to talk about, just like Saturday morning cartoons.
exactly, exactly. What was your favorite, during the Saturday morning well, what was your favorite cartoon? How's that?
It's funny. I didn't expect you to ask me that question, but you're going to know the answer to this one when I tell you. It was Wonder Twins.
Wonder Twins. I
Wonder
guess
Twins. Remember that Wonder Twin
Wonder Twin
power?
power activate.
Activate. Form of.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, my favorite cartoon was not on Saturday mornings. My favorite cartoon was after school, and that was She-Ra.
Oh,
I loved
funny.
that.
Yeah.
But
No surprise.
the
Yeah.
on Saturday morning, it was definitely Warner Brothers. Anything Warner Brothers,
Yeah.
Tom and Jerry. Such
So,
simple
what
time.
do you want to do here? Because I know we told everybody we were going to be on from 9 to 9:30 Central, but do you want to take a couple minutes and do you want to? We were going to talk about hiking today. I was pretty
Yes.
excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love to talk about hiking.
Yeah.
Yes. I think we should maybe introduce ourselves
Let's
in
do
case
that.
anybody is kind of
Yeah.
going around doesn't know who we
I know who
are.
we are. Yeah.
I'm Tara,
Does
and
everybody know you?
I own Green Adventures Tours, and I'm a little off today. I'm fighting a cold, so I don't normally sound so raspy, but I'm doing okay. I'm here in Chicago, and where I spend my off season when I'm not leading tours, and I'm here with my partner and our two dogs.
Yeah, so thank you. I'm Tracy Seward for those of you that I haven't met before, and I've got a number of roles, but I'm going to say, and not just because I'm here today, Tara. One of my favorite roles right now is working with you and Green Adventures.
Mhm.
So I've spent 30 years of my life in big corporate consulting, working in business, and this is just another avenue of business for me that is really just passion driven. I said this to a couple of people. I've traded the pencil skirts and high heels for hiking boots to be a part of this great Green Adventures adventure.
Mhm.
So tour leader of a couple of tours and super excited getting ready for Kilimanjaro. Super excited about that one. And of course, Peru coming up later this year. And I miss Patagonia. You may talk about that
Yeah.
one either today or another time. But and Laugavegur is another one of my favorites that's coming up, and Cynthia Sherman is leading that tour this year. But another one of my favorites.
I've a lot of the hiking trips that Green Adventures has like, with the exception of Laugavegur, are like things that we had
Yeah,
dreamed up and
yeah,
talked about. What are we doing next?
yeah.
And
There's more.
uh,
We keep
yeah,
dreaming. So get
I
ready, anybody
know.
who's looking for
Now there's
another hiking adventure.
now there's just
Yeah,
not enough time. It seems like I need to
right.
pick another. Like, what is the next?
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there at this point. But um, yeah. So when I started doing hiking trips, what Green Adventures was first designed as a way for um like people who have big animal encounters. A lot of my tours were like, go see sea lions and whales and turtles. But then Iceland introduced me to through hikes, and a Laugavegur just made I just started craving hiking after that. I mean, for the Laugavegur trek, what do you in Iceland? I mean, a lot of people don't even know what that is. I mean,
Yeah.
when you did that, like if you had to summarize what that hike looked like, what would you say?
Yeah. Well, and I just was there just in July, so I'll touch
Oh,
on that in a second as well too, right? But it's funny, it was quite monumental for me. So it isn't what I expected. We talk about the hut to hut. And I mean, so we have the privilege and the adventure to not be in a tent necessarily. You could be on that particular trek, but it's a hut to hut through hike foot on the ground in Iceland like you never could have put your feet on the ground, like walking across oh my gosh, and seeing, the geothermal bubbling, land as you're just walking around it and hiking as a team, and the waterfalls and the colors, and it's incredible. This July, and I've done that one a couple of times as well too, but just in July, I just, again, you never know what the weather's going to be. It could be incredibly beautiful sunshine. It could also be snow. It could be rain. And we had a couple of days that were just rain, and it brought the best, I think, and the toughest out in everyone for the first couple of days. But fog, and then all of a sudden no fog. But to me, that is I don't know, I never could have imagined seeing Iceland, and I've seen a lot in Iceland with you, other than being on foot.
Well, for me, Laugavegur, I describe it as hiking one trail through 5 planets. It's just, from like, because you start with those rainbow rhyolite mountains, and then, which I feel is the hardest part of the trail, is it up, because you go up to 3,200 feet. It's not a huge elevation gain, but it's up carrying your pack and you're just getting your legs warm, right? But the rhyolite mountains, then remember the black obsidian fields with the snow.
Yeah.
And then you will pass through those geothermal areas with the bubbling fumaroles and the lime green mosses, next to the snow, but like right near the water. And then those vast black sand deserts and the
It seem like
volcanic
they
sand
go on
deserts.
forever. They're
Yeah.
incredible.
And then you end up in the Valley of Thor, which is all birch trees and kind of magical and very, very green. So that's what I love about it.
It's Harry Potter like, right? I
Yeah.
think to a degree as well too. So I never would have thought about it like that. There's moon there, yeah, the moon. You really
Like a
didn't mention the moon,
moonscape.
but there's
Yeah.
moon-like, right?
Yeah.
Scape on that. So it's, yeah, and
Because
the colors.
we've
Yeah.
done quite a few hikes, and I won't just talk about Laugavegur, but I have to say though that Laugavegur offers just it's eye candy. There's something new
Yeah.
to see every day. It doesn't feel like you're just looking at the same trail. Like Kilimanjaro was not that an exciting trail for a long time. It were like it wasn't very exciting for my mind. But Laugavegur, I will do that trip over and over again.
I just had a funny memory of Laugavegur. The first time I did it, and then it's never going to go away. But I remember being potentially pretty hungry for a steak or something. I don't know. It was in my mind, but there was this rock. I don't know if you remember me saying this, but I
Yes,
said
I
it every
do.
single time. It looks like prime rib. So it looks like a big, it's the color, it's iron. It's just incredibly, brilliant color of iron, but prime rib, that was my prime rib rock.
Well, for me, I think about because we had to pack our lunches, and I was we had salmon the night before. We eat really well, we had salmon, and I thought it would be a good idea to make a
This
salmon
steak.
sandwich for the next day. And it was the most like, and then I remember I sat down, we were sitting there in those crowberries, and I pulled my sandwich out. It was like mush. And you had this perfect sandwich with like perfectly layered meats and cheeses and whatever else. And I was you were so kind to give me half of your sandwich
That's what
because
we
I
do,
couldn't eat that
right?
other thing. It was disgusting.
It was a
It was all
perfect
my
sandwich.
fault. It was my fault.
But these are
Yeah.
lessons learned, right? And
Yeah.
we share those lessons as well with others.
Yeah. Well, and,
Yeah.
and people are always asking, do you need your rain pants? And Laugavegur is a place that I know, like you'll
Yeah.
be so happy if you don't have your rain pants,
Yeah.
and I mean you don't need them, right? But if it's downpouring, you're gonna need your rain pants. But I think it's a good entry hike into bigger hikes. Go do Laugavegur. Like anybody can do it if they if they're healthy and they do some basic training
Yeah.
to do it.
But
Anybody.
yeah, sorry.
And I was saying then Laugavegur is a gateway to another one. And then
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you what do you think the next is. But um but the point is that I never hike extended periods without shelter, without my rain gear, because
Yeah.
that's so important.
I'm so glad you brought it up. I was going to say two things. I was going to say, I almost forgot to say, because of the rain this year that we had in Laugavegur in July, you've got to have those rain clothes. You might think that you don't need them. You might think that you come from an area where it's a wet area and you've gotten by without them. You absolutely have to have them. And everybody was thankful that they had them because it was raining every single day. And I was going to say, if you do Laugavegur, you can do Kilimanjaro.
Yeah.
I firmly believe that.
Oh,
And
yeah, I
that
do
was your
too.
Yeah,
No, I
that
could
was your
see that.
question. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I think you can do if you could do Laugavegur, you could do Kilimanjaro. The route that we take on Kilimanjaro is the northern circuit. So it's longer. So
Yeah.
I felt like our days there were mainly like long, no, short, easy days
Yeah.
of day hike for a few days until the main event, which was
Yeah.
felt like a military experience at the end. But totally it's you got to do it to get to the top. But I
That
for
was
me,
that was what I wasn't ready for with Summit Day. And I
yeah.
think I remember even, now we've switched gears to Kilimanjaro. And I remember every single day saying to you, oh my gosh, I think we could go further. I don't know why we're stopping at noon, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, or whatever it is, because we were used to, you and I probably hiking and pushing hard. That's, to your point, 9 day circuit, very intentional, for acclimation and to get us ready. So no matter how much you want to keep going throughout the hike, it's very intentional on Kilimanjaro that we stop when we stop, midday. That the summit day is what you're preparing for in the
Yeah.
previous days before. Yeah.
Going back to that trail too, I said in the beginning that like it wasn't that exciting of a trail. It got more exciting the first time I saw the Uhuru Peak, Mount Kibu. Like
Yeah.
when we came out of
Yeah.
the rainforest and you can actually see where you're going. So it's three different peaks Kilimanjaro is, and there's the highest one is Uhuru, and that's where the summit is. And so um, when we finally got
It
to
got more
see
exciting the first time I
where we were going, then that made me really like that I felt like that's when I got more excited on that hike.
Yeah.
And every day we get up and look and be like, we're getting closer. I
Yeah.
can't believe we're going there. Was it 19,324
Over
feet
19 is all
something?
I can remember.
Yeah.
19 something or other. For those of you that are watching in chat that have been on this mountain, tell us exactly what the footage is.
Yeah.
Um, I'm glad you went back to that, because what we go through on Kilimanjaro, it probably feels like, and maybe what you're remembering is summit night, because that is what is so incredibly memorable, and it feels like it goes on forever, but it doesn't. It's a 15-hour or so hike up and down. But we do go through so many different climates in Kilimanjaro. You start in rainforest, and you're in short sleeve shirts, and you probably could be in shorts. Monkeys are swinging from the trees as we're walking through it, and you're like, gosh, where is Mount Kilimanjaro, right? We're in a rainforest. And I remember, and I think it was probably, it's a couple of days, maybe even I can't remember, 2 days or so. And all of a sudden there it is. And I don't know how many times you and I said, there she is, right? There
Yes.
she is.
Mhm.
But but there are so many, there's moonscape on Kilimanjaro that is just like, wait, gosh, wow, this is pretty incredible.
Yeah. Oh, then when you get, and you see the glacier also,
Yeah.
the glacier up there. And I
Yeah.
mean, I think my favorite part of that hike was the sunrise, hiking at night and then being, like just being unsure. Like having done it now, I have more confidence to do it again because I know what I'm getting into is the
Yeah.
unknowns. I think that's part of the scariest part of Kilimanjaro is like just not knowing what to expect, even though you've done all your best prep and research and hoping like you're
Yeah.
doing it. And but when the sun came up over the Serengeti in Kenya and like at Gilman at
Gilman's Point. Yeah.
yeah, Gilman's Point, that was so nice. I felt like I could hear angels' trumpets.
Yeah. And these are imprints in your mind that are with you forever.
Yeah.
Almost like I can see a little bit of that picture behind you, reaching the summit
Oh.
of a volcano
Oh yeah.
together, you and I, an active
Yes.
volcano. I mean, that's a story maybe for a different live, but
Yeah.
we didn't know what to expect. You didn't necessarily know what to expect with Kilimanjaro, but there are moments that are imprinted in your mind forever. I think, for me, Tara, I was thinking about, what is my favorite hike? I was going to flip it to you as well, too. Like it's there. I don't know if I could say one favorite. But I think there is something about the one moment. I love, love, love the beauty of Peru so very much. And the El Singate hike, and you and I did that, as a beta trip with a number of people as well, too. Just you didn't necessarily know what to expect. I think I went to Peru knowing that I wanted to tackle a bucket list, seeing Machu Picchu, right? But it was that particular hike that I was like, gosh, I had no idea. And I feel like that with all the hikes.
Mhm.
And then you get excited once you've done it, right? Inside, my gosh, I did that. I know I can do more.
With Peru, I wasn't prepared for how spiritual that was going to feel.
Yeah.
And then I also thought Machu Picchu was going to be the highlight, like the thing that we like was the most amazing thing. And that was the warm up to the most amazing thing, which is Ausengati trek, which we'd like to offer at some point again. But it's a trip. It's got to be, that's the right people for that. It's a high elevation.
It's a tough one. It's
tough
very
one.
tough.
But
Yeah.
it's not impossible, but it's definitely
Yeah.
elevation, and you got to have mental fortitude
Yeah.
to keep. I believe it's harder than Kilimanjaro.
Yeah, I know you and I both have said the same thing. I think the one other thing that comes to mind for me, just as a tip for everybody, is for anybody who's considering or been on or getting ready to go on a Green Adventures tour, the packing list. We talk about this all the time, Tara. The packing list, we spend so much time in developing the packing list for everybody. They're so carefully put together, and they're carefully put together because, you know, we've been on the trips, and then we finish the trip and we look at it again, and we look at it the next time, and we look at it the next time. But the packing lists are, I think, one of the top things that I would recommend to everybody. Don't skimp on the packing list. When we put those together, they're very intentional. And we say, if you're going to Iceland, you absolutely must have your rain jacket and your rain pants. That's because we've been there. So I just, you know, for me, that's one of my top things for you. Kudos. Follow the packing list.
And for me, the other one is I just learned recently that, so I know that one should not buy new boots and go hiking. I know this. I know for a fact.
Why do you know this?
What's that?
Why do you know this?
Because I'm a professional. But so we did a scouting trip to Patagonia, and can you hear my dogs barking? Sorry, they just
No.
Okay.
But I have a feeling I know where this one is going, and this is one I can't wait to. This is why you know that the boots must be broken in. Get ready.
Yeah, well, they were actually broken in boots. I climbed Kilimanjaro. I hiked Ausengati. I did the Inca Trail multiple times. Laugavegur multiple times with these boots. And I got the worst blisters on the O Trek in Torres del Paine National Park. And it was so painful. And my tip for anybody is you've got to break your feet in too. I took a year off of hiking. I mean, I've been exercising, I lifted weights. I haven't even been running really. I trusted my abilities to carry a pack and walk. I didn't remember that I need to have calluses on my feet in order to protect my feet, as you know, for all those hours on your feet and the abrasions. So so my advice is, no matter what hike you're doing on, even if you got your trusty boots, make sure you're walking in those. Re-break your feet in with your boots a month before your hike.
I thought you were actually going to say they were new boots, but they're not. They weren't. They were trusted boots.
They're my old boots.
Yeah.
And then I'm not used to hiking in such, like, it was hot because it was summer there in Chile, and I'm used to cool and colder environments, and my feet were sweating a lot, and the moisture and the friction. And so I will, if I'm going to do some hiking in a place like a desert again, I'm going to have some Gold Bond medicated powder for your feet. I used to use that when I worked in the tropics all the time. It just really absorbs all that extra moisture. And then also we had to carry everything. So I was looking at everything meticulously through that packing list. Like, what do I want to carry? And my blister care actually weighed a lot, because I was like 3 packs of Compeed. And I thought, do I really need all of these? I don't get that.
I used to use that when I worked in the tropics all the time. It just really absorbs all that.
Sorry.
And I've noticed that, I will never skimp on my blister care ever again. The KT tape, some gauze and moleskin are so important to take, because if you can't hike, if your feet are in pain with blisters, the hike itself is going to be horrible.
Yeah.
No matter how physically fit you are.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to we're going to figure this out. This is my first Facebook Live, so I'm like, I want to see what everybody's saying, right, as well too, and I can't seem to figure out how to do that. But Tara, so thank you for sharing that. I have one more tip there. I was thinking that you had new boots on. I don't know, I missed that you didn't have new boots. So even though you tell everybody break the boots in, this was, I think, a super good tip. The other thing, and I love
break your feet in.
break your feet
Break your
in,
feet in.
break your boots in, break your feet in.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
gold bond, you can buy the little, travel gold bond. I think that's incredible for a lot of reasons to take with you. I love in Iceland. It was so wet this year, and my boots failed. So my tried and trusty boots failed also, and I got wet inside. So I hadn't gone back, I think, and done my nick waxing again, my re waterproofing them. But if I wore my silk liners, I noticed this helped me a lot. I would put the gold bond on, but I would then wear my silk liners and then the wool socks. Definitely darn tough, wool socks.
Yeah.
My feet
That's what I
stayed
missed.
drier.
I
Yeah.
didn't have the liners. I just had the socks.
Yeah.
And I only had 3 pairs of socks. I was constantly taking my socks off and drying them in the air. I was like, wait.
You were being a minimalist on that tour,
I
all of you.
was.
I saw that.
Yeah, I'll
Right.
never
Yeah.
sleep on my socks again or
Yeah.
blister care.
But
So-
wool socks, no matter if they get wet, right? They also dry out very, very fast. So yeah.
So what's one thing I was thinking today, my answer to this, my own question is, what if you had one thing to take on a hike, what's the one thing you're always going to take with you?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's so funny. You know this about
You can
me.
only have one.
It's got to be water. That's probably not fair though,
Oh,
because
okay.
I've
Okay.
got this
How about
phobia
we'll call it a
of
luxury
thirsting
item.
to death.
We'll call it a luxury item.
A luxury item.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love.
Okay. What?
Okay,
What?
that's
Okay.
good.
No, I have a better question. What's a luxury item and what's
Yeah.
a practical item? So those
Yeah.
two things that you recommend for hiking.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go back and say that no matter what, the practical item, I will always have wool socks, always. And I have a couple of brands that I like, but no matter what, so you can have other socks, but the wool socks will always keep your feet dry no matter what. The luxury item, I love to take my essential oils.
Oh, really?
And don't think I've got this big basket of oils or whatever it is, but it's even like a couple. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I mean, sometimes it's just my mental fortitude. Like even I'm like, calm down, and a little bit of lavender here and there does wonders, tea tree oil. But at night when we were sleeping in tents, and I think about this a lot with you, you're excited about the next day. You're a little bit anxious about the next day. You've got somebody bumping you or snoring beside you, whatever it is. But a little bit of essential oil,
just so
you
you
don't
know.
snore, by the way. A little bit of essential oil behind my ears. It's hilarious. Like it just gets into my nose. It calms me down. I like my essential oils.
Well, that's okay. So tying in with that, I like Gas X. That is in every one of my packing
That's
lists,
funny.
like in my first aid kit now.
Yeah.
Because we partied so much in Peru. I didn't realize, I know it's mostly an elevation thing, but like I didn't realize how beautiful, not beautiful, how
Yeah.
nice it was to have Gas X.
It's important. I will
Yes.
agree.
And then the other is dry shampoo. I like those little travel bottles of dry shampoo. Thanks to you.
Yeah.
I was introduced to dry shampoo, and
That goes back to our Cuba trip. I think we
yes.
did. That was a very last minute trip as well too. And I'm like, look at this dry shampoo. I don't have to wash my hair
it was so,
today or tomorrow or the
I
next
know,
day.
but I just remember it was so cold that day, and my hair looked like because we were staying in those hotels that seemed like they the time stopped in 1950, so it was freezing in January in Cuba. And my hair was like slicked down, and I didn't want to take a shower. And you're like, try dry shampoo. And I was like,
It wasn't slicked down after dry shampoo, was it?
Yeah, I was like, wow, look, I got volume. I'm clean. Good.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's good.
those are my two things. And then of
I feel
course,
like I could write a whole blog on dry shampoo now. So I have a variety of them, right? That I say we could take as well too. So that's another blog.
well, this was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was a crazy start to the morning. We were playing with the technical stuff. We'll get better at it. But I hope that other people would like to come and join us on Saturday mornings and just listen to us talk about.
It's a great way to start the weekend,
get
Tara.
engaged
Yeah.
and drive and put their own questions in the comments too. And yeah, so and hopefully someone like there's always you can always join us on hikes. Tracey's leading Kilimanjaro, and she's going to Peru. I don't think I'm leading any hikes this year again.
I want more hikes. So we'll see if we dream up something else as
I
well
know, I
too.
need to
But
do
yeah,
some more.
but you've got Iceland. The beauty of
I
Iceland
know
is
Iceland's my place. I
Yeah.
do a lot of that.
Yeah.
And Cynthia's doing Laugavegur, and I'm going to Greenland. We'll do a little bit of hiking there, a little bit of everything else, too, like multi-sport stuff. Oh, and then there's Alaska. Alaska's got hiking and river rafting and boat tours. So you can
Awesome.
apply all
All
this
right.
wonderful knowledge, even the gas X and essential oils, breaking in your
Wool
feet,
socks. Yeah.
wool socks. Yeah. Well, thanks, Tracy.
All right. Thank you, Tara.
Have a great weekend. Everybody, thanks for stopping by and listening, and we'll see you next week. Be sure to go to greenadventures.com. That's green, like the color, adventures with an E. Bye.